it's Jackie from Parham Physiotherapy. I've just put together a few beginners Pilates exercises in a sequence that I hope you can use to help to mobilise your back and to start getting a bit stronger. So before you do this, if you could just prepare your body by doing a gentle warm-up, and then we will start the exercises in Pilates rest position. So, starting in crook lying, Pilates rest position is where you place your feet and your knees hip width apart. The weight should be passing equally between your feet. Your bottom should be sinking down into the mat, but you should still have a small space between your lower back and the mat. If you can allow your ribs to sink down into the mat, widen through your collarbones and lengthen through the back of your neck. So I've got a small towel just to support my head. You can either choose to not use one, or you might need one a little bit thicker if you tend to find that your chin is pointing to the ceiling. So let's start by practicing engaging our core muscles. So I just want you to take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, try and draw your lower tummy muscles down and in. So some people call this a zipping and tucking motion. Other people think about recruiting their pelvic floor, whatever works for you. Okay, your hip bones should be pointing directly up to the ceiling, and your pelvis should be in neutral. So as we engage through those centre muscles, I just want you to float one leg into single tabletop and then pop it back down onto the mat. And repeat with the other leg. So we're aiming for a right angle at the knee and the hip. And we're trying to keep the hip bones pointing directly up to the ceiling, like the headlamps of a car. Keep relaxed and lengthened through your neck and your shoulders. And you shouldn't be feeling any strain in your lower back at the moment. You should, however, feel a gentle tension just across your hip bones, and this is where your core muscles are starting to be activated. Exhale as you float the leg up, inhale to lower. If you're comfortable at this level, then stay here, but if you want to challenge yourself a bit more, float one leg up, deepen the tummy contraction, and float the other leg up to meet it into double tabletop. Then release the first leg back down to the mat, followed by the second. And then repeat that with the other leg first. Bring the second leg to meet it, lower the first, and then lower the second. So we're exhaling to lift, and then inhaling to lower. Trying to keep your lower back as relaxed as possible. If you find that this is straining your lower back by doing this, then go back to the first level I taught you. For those who want the extra challenge, float both legs to double tabletop. And from here, we're going to exhale to tap one foot down, inhale to bring it back up. Exhale to lower, inhale to bring it back up. Keep that centre engaged the whole time, making sure you still have that natural lumbar curve and that your tummy muscles are keeping as flat as possible. Imagine those ribs are sinking down into the sand. And you should start to feel the burn now across your tummy. With a lot of Pilates exercises, it's not about how hard the exercise is, it's about how long you do it for and how good a technique. So always be quite specific with trying to achieve those right angles. And I always like a nice pointed toe as well. Just do a couple more here then. And and then lower down one leg at a time. And then just bring your knees into your chest just to loosen things off. And you can rock side to side as well if you like. And then lower one leg back to the mat, followed by the other. So now we'll move into hip twist. This is a great exercise if you want to improve the control of your hip on your pelvis. And for this exercise, I suggest if you haven't done it before, put your hands on your hips so you can feel your hip bones. And they should stay still throughout the exercise. So as you engage through your centre, you're going to float one leg out to the side, keeping your static knee pointing directly to the ceiling and your hip bones pointing up. Keep on the one leg for several repetitions of the exercise, just so you can start to really understand what you're supposed to be doing. And I always suggest that people exhale as they float the leg out to the side, because this will help you to engage through your centre, and then inhale to bring it back up. Remembering that your favourite drink is on that static knee, so you don't want it wobbling all over the place. Good. And this is also a really nice exercise to help mobilise that hip into external rotation. But the idea of the exercise isn't to achieve as much range of movement as possible, it's more to achieve a controlled motion. Okay, and then just one more on that side. And then we're going to follow that by doing it on the other side. So remembering to exhale as you allow the leg to float out to the side, and inhale to bring it back up. Place an extra focus now on whether or not you feel your centre muscles are engaged, and you can feel that tension between your hip bones. Remembering both hips facing directly up to the ceiling. And now bring your focus up to your ribs. Make sure that they aren't flaring up off the mat, they should be sinking down. And release any tension in your neck and upper body. You will find that one leg is harder than the other when you do this. And one more on this side. And relax. Now place your arms back down by your side and we'll move to a one leg stretch. So as you exhale, I want you to slide one leg away from you, keeping those centre muscles engaged, and bring the leg back up. Now I'm finding actually that my foot is sticking on the mat and the floor, so I'm having to lift it slightly, but what I'd like you to do is to slide it if possible. Okay, so you're sliding that leg away. Imagine you're drawing a line in sand, and then you bring it back up. So you're going to exhale to take the leg away, and inhale to bring it back. The focus here is upon the connection between your ribs and your pelvis. So imagine you've got springs connecting your ribs and your pelvis, and that you have to keep them activated as you straighten that leg away from your body. Okay. Now if you like to, float your arms up above your head, and this time as you straighten your leg away from you, just reach those arms to about level with your ears, and then bring it back up. So this is now a double leg stretch, but really it's just bringing in your arms. So you really will have to deepen that tummy contraction to control the motion within your trunk. So we're trying to prevent your lower back from arching up off the mat. And always thinking, exhale as you take your arms and your leg away from you, and then inhale as you bring it back up. Keep those tummies flat, so you're not allowing those tummy muscles to dome up. If you think that they are, then just go back to the one leg stretch and don't move the arms. Good. So you're going to exhale as you take the arm and legs away, and inhale to bring them back up. And you should start to feel that your core muscles are woken up now. They should be, you should feel that tension generated. We'll just do one more on each side. Lovely. And just bring your arms back down your sides then. And then just squeeze your feet and your knees together. And just roll your knees in one direction and turn your head in the opposite direction. Just to mobilise through that spine. And then in the other direction. And once more. Even when you're doing your stretches, use your tummy to bring you back up. Use those core muscles. Okay? So moving away from your tummy a little, we're going to move on to bottoms and hamstrings, and we're going to start doing some bridging. So if you're comfortable to, try and take your pillow away, because it's much better to do a bridge without a head cushion. And then you can use it to squeeze it between your knees. Okay? So we're just going to squeeze that towel between your knees, and that really helps to wake up your inner thigh muscles, which in turn has an impact on the activity within your lower tummy. And we're going to tuck that tailbone under and slowly curl your lower back up off the mat into a bridge. And we're aiming for shoulder blade height. And then slowly lower yourselves back down. Now if you've not done this exercise before, or you suffer with a bit of back pain, then you're probably worth just starting with a gentle pelvic tilt here. And if you have been diagnosed with osteoporosis, I'd suggest instead of working through that articulating motion, which we use to mobilise through the spine, I'd prefer it if you just kept your spine quite flat and you just pushed up here. So that your spine is flat and you're then not looking to press your vertebrae down into the mat. Okay, but I'm going to keep curling up. And although this seems like quite a simple exercise, if you really are squeezing those knees together and you work through the exercise for a number of repetitions, you will find that you do start to feel the burn. But if you want to make it a bit harder, float your arms up to the ceiling so you don't have those for support. And then curl up. Take a breath in at the top, and then as you breathe out, engage through your core. And think about lowering down, vertebra by vertebra, back down to the mat. And the same again. So you're going to exhale as you tuck that tailbone under. Keep curling up. All the way up. To shoulder blade height. Squeeze your knees together. Hold it there for a bit if you can. And then lower back down. I'm going to do one more. So we're going to tuck that tailbone under. Curling right up. And just hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Okay. Take the towel out and then just hug your knees to your chest for a little recovery. And then straighten one leg away. Feel a stretch in that hip flexor at the front. Bring that leg in. Reach the other one away. And then straighten both legs away from you. And then you can lie onto your side. Okay? So we've done a bit of work on our abs, done a bit of work on our glutes. I'm going to do a little bit of work in the hip abductors. Anyone who suffers with knee pain or back pain and has seen a physio has probably heard people talk about these. And it's really important that we strengthen through this lateral sling. So I'd just like everyone to start with your knees bent behind you, but your shoulders and your hips and your knees should be in line. You're going to press down through that top hip, so you're going to lengthen through here. Just enough space for a small blueberry between the mat and your waist. And then I'd just like you to straighten that top leg. You just put the hands in front of you here, so eggshell pressure. Relax through the shoulder. And we're just going to exhale as you lift your leg up. And inhale to lower. Exhale to lift up. Inhale to lower. Now try and keep your toes pointing forwards. And keep lengthened through here. Now if you're working just at the hip, I wouldn't expect you to get really high. If you are lifting your leg quite high in the ceiling, chances are you're getting a bit of side flexion in your trunk. Okay? And we're looking, the reason we keep the toes pointing forwards or even a little bit down is just because it helps to work the muscle on the outer thigh a little bit better. But I'm not putting very much pressure at all through this hand. And I'm doing it with a pointed toe, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to do 3 more here. So 1, 2, and 3. But you're not going to put the leg down, so pop it to hip height, keep it here. And now you're going to exhale as you float that leg forwards, and then inhale to bring it back. You're going to exhale to bring it forwards, and inhale to bring it back. If you find that that's a bit too tricky, you can bend your knee and do it with a flex knee. Okay, imagine you're dusting a low-lying glass table with your inner thigh. A strange description, but it does work for some people. But you should really start to be feeling the burn in the outer thigh now. Keeping that side lifted here. And just 2 more. So 1. And last one, leading right back with that heel. And then lower that leg down and just bring it in front of you and give it a bit of a rub. Okay. And we're just going to move now onto the other side and repeat that exercise. So, starting, place the towel between your shoulder and your ear, best place. Then you're just going to lengthen through that top half. Both legs bent, your knees bent to about a right angle, knees, hips and shoulders in line. And you're just going to straighten that top leg. A bit of an angle there we go. And we're just going to lift and lower. Go. So we're going to exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Keep strong through these centre muscles. And make sure that one hip stays stacked on top of the other. So you're not allowing your pelvis to rock back. If you find that you are sinking back and your top hip is rolling back off your bottom hip, then you might want to start by doing this against a wall. And again, as I said, you don't have to point your toe. It just seems to be habit for me. Good. So you're going to exhale to lift, keeping relaxed in that upper body. And then you're going to inhale as you lower. So we're just going to do 3 more here. So you just really start to feel the burn in that outer buttock area. And last one. Maybe you're not going to lower it all the way. And then we're going to exhale as you bring your leg forwards. Inhale to bring it back, just to midline. We're not looking to work into hip extension. Now this is side kick level 2. So side kick level 1 would be similar exercise, but you have the top leg bent. So it's a shorter lever arm. But it's still very tricky. Okay, and we're looking for eggshell pressure. Okay, so if you had a pencil on your toe, you'd be drawing a line forwards and then rubbing it out with your heel. Okay, so we're going to do 3 more here. 1, 2, good, and then dig in for the last one. I'm sure you can feel a bit of a burn now. And lower it down and then bring it in front of your body and give it a bit of a rub. Okay. And then finally in this little series, it's always quite nice to do things in 4-point kneeling. Weight bearing is always quite an important exercise to do. So we're going to start in 4-point kneeling. Okay, so at the moment your hands should be directly under your shoulders and your knees should be directly under your hips. And we'll just start by mobilising the spine into a cat-camel stretch. So working to flexion and extension. Just mobilise your spine as far as you're comfortable to. Okay, keeping those centre muscles engaged at all times. This is purely an exercise to mobilise the spine. And then we're going to find your middle position. And then I want you to walk your hands forwards, just about hands length in front. Okay, so your shoulders should be at about 110 degrees flexion. Nice t-shirt tan there. Okay. And then I just want you to tuck your toes in. So we're going to do a leg pull in prone prep. So to start, I want you to try and press your body away. So press the floor away with your hands and feel your shoulders push away from the floor. Keep it lengthened through your neck and look at the position between your hands. Now I take a breath in to prepare, and as you breathe out, you're going to engage through your centre and just hover your knees just the tiniest distance up off the mat, and then lower them down. So engage through your centre as you hover those knees, and inhale slower. Now the lower you can hover your knees, the harder this exercise is. And to start with, you can just start by taking the weight, and that might be enough for you. But as it gets easier, or you become more confident, you can see if you can hold it for a bit longer. And you will really start to feel the strength developing through your upper limbs, and also your centre muscles engaging, so your core is working even when you're doing this kind of exercise. So you're going to exhale to hold, and then inhale to lower. And we're just going to do 2 more then. Hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. And last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Good. And then just take yourself back into a child's pose stretch. And bring yourself back up. So that's me done with my little sequence of exercises. They should be quite helpful if you are a beginner to Pilates or if you suffer with any back pain. If you've got any queries, as always, please don't hesitate to contact me on info@parhamphysiotherapy.co.uk. Thank you.